Good morning, this is Coach Brenay. I'm Program Manager for the Bay City facility, and this is our Children's Martial Arts video lesson number 26. So, we're going to begin class with our feet together set and bow. Showing respect. Now we're going to begin with our student creed. Repeat after me. Say, I will develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that would reduce my mental growth or my physical health. I will develop self-discipline in order to bring out the best in myself and others. I will use common sense before self-defense and never be abusive or offensive. This is a black belt school. We are dedicated. We are motivated. We are on a quest to be our best. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. I choose to win. Feet together, set, and bow. Very good job, martial artists. And before we get started today, I want you to think about something. When we do our student creed, that should fire you up. You should be ready to do martial arts. You should be just ready to rock and roll after doing that creed, because inside of us, this is why we do it, to push ourselves forward, to reach new limits. Not just to reach for new belts or to be, the strongest kid in the school. It's about our mental game as well as our physical game. So bring everything up together, guys. And think about it like this. I have a story here for you, and we'll start today off with the mat check, because I want you to kind of digest it while we do our lesson. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm very good at catching fleas. Now, when you catch a flea, you put it in a jar. Now, fleas, if you don't know this, you have to put a lid on the jar because fleas can jump super duper high. Now, if you put a lid on a jar, the flea will jump and hit his head on that lid all day long until he realizes he's not going to bust through. So the flea is going to begin to start jumping just so high so he doesn't bump his head on the top of the jar. So you'll see this flea, he's just jumping about a centimeter away from the top of that jar, not quite bumping his head. But the flea gets used to that. He starts getting acclimated to that. He kind of plateaus out, and he doesn't think, I can push myself any farther. And one day I open the top of that jar, and the flea continues to jump just to the top because he's worried he might bump his head. Now, at any point, that flea could bust through the top of that jar and escape, but it just takes him to realize that. He has to push himself. He has to push through that ceiling, realize his true potential, and that he can escape at any point. And guys, I want you to see that. When you do your martial arts, see what your potential truly is. The sky is your potential. There's no limits to what you can do if you believe in yourself. So when you're exercising today, think about that. Don't put a cap to what you can do. There is no limit. There is no, like if you're playing a video game, it's not like I reach level 60 and I'm done. No, man, you keep leveling, man. This is real life. So keep working, keep pushing yourselves. So let's go to our striking stance. Let's move forward into our warm-up. Now, we're going to begin with our shadow box. We're going to be moving around in our shadow box, but I want you to incorporate quarter turns now into your motion. So what I mean by quarter turns are this. I lift my lead knee up, I pick up my heel, and I turn my body 1/4 turn away. So I'm facing you, I pick up my heel, I turn, I'm now facing a new direction. Quarter turns are very useful, especially when I'm shadow boxing. I can throw these in and do different combinations. I can throw quarter turns in with. When I do things, it just helps me find angles. When you get an angle on your opponent, especially if you're sparring, you get a good angle to their dead side, or they have to adjust to you. That gives you moments. And in those moments, you can throw your combinations. You can show, control by throwing palm strikes. But the idea is, we're in charge. We're in control. We dictate this dance. And by doing that, we can add in our quarter turns. We can add in our bobs and weaves. But the idea is we're always moving. Our feet are controlling what we do here. Because with our workout today, our feet are very, very, very important. Not only does all of our martial arts begin at our toes, but especially a lot of our kicks. So moving around in our 1/4 turns. Try that out. Move around, throw some punches, but I want you to get accustomed to turning and moving and changing direction, especially if you pretend you have a bunch of enemies around you. I like to think like that because I was a Ninja Turtle kind of kid, so I like to imagine I had a whole bunch of foot putty guys around me and I fight them off, but it's here nor there. So moving forward, we're gonna stretch out our upper body and we're gonna warm it up. So we're gonna do a 3-armed push-up. Now when we do our 3-arm push-up, we're gonna start in a regular push-up position. I'm gonna bring one leg up with my hands. We're just gonna simply bend and do the push-up. Now I want you to bring your chest as close to you as you can to the mat or the floor. And the idea is, I want more reps, less weight here. So I want you to do as many of these as you can. So we don't really necessarily even have to count. I want you to do it to exhaustion and switch. And do it as quickly as possible. I want your arms to be tired. So when we do our martial arts, we want to be as tired as possible. We want to emulate what will actually happen, because if it goes down, guys, the adrenaline dump happens, you're not going to be thinking clearly. So the more you train at a high level, the more prepared you will be. So moving forward, we're going to do our squats with a round kick. Now when we do a squat, we go into our horse stance. Our feet are apart, our knees and toes are facing forward. We squat down, keeping our back straight, and finish with a round kick. So squat, round kick. Squat, round kick. Squat, round kick. Squat, round kick. Good, one more time. Squat, round kick. Awesome work. Now, today I want to teach you a crescent kick. The crescent kick is a very, very useful and applicable kick in a lot of different situations, not only offensively, but defensively. So the idea is you can do an outside or an inside crescent kick from the rear leg. So today we're going to begin with the outside crescent kick. So we start by basically slapping our leg from the outside to the inside. So I bring my leg out, around, and in. So again, out, around, and back in, right back into my stance. So in full, again. So this is a good kick to use if someone has their hands out in front of them. You can kick their hands away, bringing your legs back so that you can strike. But it's very useful because your hands are still free. Essentially, you're using your legs like an extra pair of arms. So they have their hands up, your hands are here, you just go, hi, bam, knock their hands away, and then deal the damage. So really, you can remove the enemy's guard and attack underneath their defenses. So, outside crescent kick. So it starts from the outside, coming back to the inside. Back in. Now, the outside crescent kick is just the opposite. So I start in my striking stance. I bring my leg up as high as it will go, and I fan it out and away from my body. So, in full, my leg comes across my body and out. So, in full, leg up, out, and down. Up, out, and down. Up, out, and down. Now, I like to use this crescent kick because I can kick up, out, and down, and switch my stance. And switching stance. But the idea is, we could throw kicks all day if you get really good at these kicks. So use your yard, use your space, crescent kick all over the place. But remember, are we going to be crazy or are we going to be careful when we do our martial arts? Do you want to crescent kick your little brother or sister? Probably not. So look where you kick. And maybe even have mom or dad hold out something in front of them and kick it right out of their hand. But once again, make sure they're in on the drill. So if mom or dad's just holding a plate full of food, don't walk up and crescent kick it out of their hands. Have mom or dad hold a ball out maybe, or a pillow, or a target, but have something to work with. Have some fun when you do your martial arts. So get outside, Add these to your shadowboxing techniques. Move around the yard. Do your quarter turns. Do your squats. And if I don't hear from you this week, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you.